Good evening, boys and girls. Got the F1 movie going. It's going good so far. Heard good reviews, so decided to give it a bit of a watch. Yeah, looking good so far. Got my pomegranate juice, and as you can see, I'm not wearing my blue light glasses because I haven't been stuffed wearing them today. But let's get into it. Depression is a thing that is kind of invading our society more and more, and it is, a bit concerning, but also I think is very misunderstood. Um, you hear reports of children feeling depressed. Now again, with this whole video, if you are a person who suffers from depression, like the real thing, I forgot what it's called. It's something depression. It's like when you have the chemical imbalance kind of thing. Genuinely get treatment, genuinely get help. But if not, and you're watching this video, just take it with a grain of salt because this is all my opinion and my journey. You have your own journey, so do as you wish with this video. And yeah, but anyway, you see these like reports of these young children, feeling depressed, and I feel like it's more a misunderstanding between like what emotions they should be feeling in certain situations. They think, some people think that feeling sad during a particular time is them being depressed, and that's bad, and they've got to change it. When in reality, certain emotions are meant to be expressed in certain situations. But some people are just, not terribly intelligent, are brainwashed, or just very young who got brainwashed. And this is the same thing that was with me. But also, by the way, this whole depression thing is also, these feelings do though can occur more and more often. These feelings of sad, these negative emotions can occur more often than they should because of modern society pushing all this kind of stuff. All this cheap pleasure of social media, overstimulating you. People don't feel at peace. They don't feel comfortable in their own skin. They don't feel fulfilled. And, when I was younger, I was very red-pilled. Didn't understand how emotions, didn't understand emotions. And I thought that, crying, because, men aren't supposed to cry. Crying when, something terrible happened, it makes you like a pussy or something. And I kind of took that mindset, and that genuinely just made me in a worse mental state because, it's super unnatural what I'm doing. Again, I was just a very, very, very stupid back then, and didn't see the repercussions for my actions, and yeah, because it was so unnatural, it just really forgot the word. It really messed with everything. There were other things in play, but I just want to kind of mention that. But kind of the three things, because I did feel, and I did feel at times that I was like a lot more sad than I should be. And the kind of three things that I implemented. And by the way, people like to push all these super complicated theories and systems and all that kind of stuff. And that's great if you want to get those 1%, but those 1% don't really account to a whole lot of growth. And it's same with like YouTube. Everybody's copying everybody. Just kind of changing up the title, and it's all the same stuff. It's honestly, to make change, you genuinely just need to do the basics, stuff. Build the majority of results, and then once you build that foundation, then you can go for the fanciest stuff. So that's just what I'm kind of trying to push. But so the first thing I noticed is that I was very much, and this is kind of relating to FOMO, I was very much a person who would, and this also goes to social media, but because social media kind of relates to this whole FOMO aspect, because you see everybody's kind of life, and it's super unrealistic because they just show the best moments of their life. I saw that people are at a party or they're hanging out with friends, and I'm like thinking, why am I not there? And I'm not, and why am I not here? And all this kind of stuff. Not realizing that all this stuff is always around. All these things are always around, no matter what. The pubs, the bars, because now I'm 17, everybody likes to now go for a lot more, go out more and drink a lot more, all that kind of stuff. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that focusing on those things is not going to get you there, because those things are always there. But those opportunities, those opportunities are not always there. Me personally, a teenager who lives with his parents, by the way, that's a normal thing. Why did I even mention that? Don't know. Me as a teenager, my opportunity is that I don't have to work a job to pay rent, to live in my house. I don't pay for my school fees. I don't pay to put food on the table. All these factors that my parents contribute towards me and my siblings, I don't have to do. And that's the opportunity, because that means I have more time to then spend on things such as this YouTube channel. I'm thinking of some other business, kind of diving into that a bit, educating myself, reading Dostoevsky, philosophy, business books, all that kind of stuff. Those are the opportunities that you don't get all the time. There is kind of a small window. Otherwise, you might end up in some job that you hate and all that kind of stuff. So I really, confronted this feeling of what I should focus on. And, it gets hard at times, but, cutting out social media is something that has changed my life, especially Instagram, when it comes to this kind of thing. Because you see all the unrealistic bits of people's lives, and you see how much fun they're having, how great their life is, all that kind of stuff. But in reality, those people, apart from that party that they had 2 months ago, in the rest of those 2 months, they might have been completely miserable. So I genuinely just stay away from that stuff and focus on my goals, focus on my aspirations, and focus on my passions. And that genuinely, cuts out all that noise. It drowns it. It's like wearing noise-cancelling headphones when you're in a loud room. It just, makes you completely dialed, and you almost just forget why you're even feeling depressed, and it just kind of goes away. No medication needed for curing that stuff. Again, if you have some genuine issues, get help. The second thing I did is I thought positively. And by thinking positively, I didn't think, I'm going to do so well on this test, or I'm going to bench press this amount of weight, and I'm definitely going to do it. That kind of stuff. And that stuff is great to have. But what I'm specifically meaning is just genuinely thinking positively, oh, this day is, not that sunny, but it's still somewhat of a beautiful day. Or um, things like, oh, you see a fat person in the gym and you're like in good shape. And it's easy for you to judge that person, but instead you think and you admire that person because they made the conscious decision to, instead of sitting on their ass and watching TV on the couch, they instead chose the more grueling and painful option of, trying to improve themselves, try and lose weight, build muscle, that kind of thing. Um, all those thoughts of just positivity. I used to be a person who hated fat people, no matter if they were um, going to the gym or not. I genuinely just hated them, and this hate, I think, really brought on brought out, a lot of my negative thoughts. Now I feel like, a lot of people choose to think negatively because it's the easier option, and I personally agree. It is the easier option because you kind of just think what comes to mind and you just stick with it instead of it's like pulling apart a magnet, like a strong magnet. It's like hard, but eventually it comes out, like breaks apart and stuff. It's kind of the same way. You kind of like steering it, and then it kind of switches. And that's what with positive thinking, but it's generally by far the better option. And it just kind of floods out all the negativity when you're just constantly thinking positively. That lady had a very nice dress, or that guy had, I don't know, a cool hairstyle. No homo, by the way. All that kind of stuff is, stuff that I implemented that, really changed my state of well-being. And the next thing, and it's a very controversial thing, but to be honest, in today's woke society, everything's controversial and everything is offensive. So, yeah, it's connection to religion, to God, and to a high power. And my whole life, more like when I was like 13, 14, I really identified myself as a Christian. But if you ask me stuff about it, I probably couldn't tell you one thing about it. I'll just say to you, Jesus, and that's about it. And I, genuinely didn't know what it was all about. So I've really recently tried to educate myself in that field. Talked to the priest at my school, discussed like how to read the Bible, because my Bible is a bit, Shakespearean, English, and I just thought that you read it like a chapter book, and you like kind of told me the steps, the strategies, all that kind of stuff. And now that I think about it, the reason why I think it's such a great thing for your mental well-being, and it's the whole idea of there being a second life, and therefore why are you taking this life so seriously? Now, I'm not saying don't take life so seriously that go party and take drugs and just have fun. That's not what I'm meaning. But what I'm meaning is like, you have your goals, your aspirations, do it. With this YouTube channel, I didn't think twice about it. I didn't think about the perfect opportunity. To an extent, I did delay it a little bit because there was I was just busy. But then when I wasn't busy, I was just like, let's do it. Boom, post the video, and we're here now. We're not at a crazy amount of subs, but we're getting there. We're growing. And that's what I think religion is why it's so beautiful. it makes you idiot max. Like in my previous video, previous video, previous video. It makes you kind of not think twice about your actions to an extent. That you know, so you don't regret things and all that kind of stuff, and that even if you tried, you fully committed to things that you wanted to commit to, and it didn't pan out, didn't work out. You always got the second life to make that comeback. So just send this life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little rant about this kind of topic, and I hope this had some impact on your life. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful day.